Let's evaluate the rental yields for short-term versus long-term rentals for a studio in JVC here. We're using Oxford Residence for example. I'm comparing two scenarios here, the long-term unfurnished option versus the short-term furnished option. I've also added up a setup cost here for reference. In JVC for a studio right now, you can rent up to 45,000 dirhams a year for unfurnished long-term. However, for short-term furnished, I've added a 30% multiplier to reflect market realities, and that gives us 58,500 dirhams a year. In terms of management fee, it's 5% usually for long-term unfurnished. However, it goes up to 15% for short-term rentals. So this is 2,250 versus 8,775 dirhams. In terms of setup, for long-term unfurnished, you as an owner don't need to pay a single cent. However, for short-term rentals, you have to pay 3,000 dirhams for activation and about 800 dirhams a month, which is 9,600 dirhams a year for DWA, air conditioning, and Wi-Fi. The property service fees remains the same for all options, regardless of whether you're renting it out short-term or long-term. Last but not least, for furniture, for long-term unfurnished, you as an owner don't have to pay a single cent. However, for short-term furnished option, you have to pay for the furniture. So as a light touch assessment, for a studio, you have to pay about 7,000 dirhams as a setup, and then 1,000 dirhams per year on an ongoing wear and tear maintenance basis. So what does this mean in terms of net rental revenue and yields? Let's find out. So for a long-term unfurnished option, we take 45,000 minus all the costs here, which leads to 36,000 dirhams a year. However, for short-term furnished option, we take 58,000 here divided by all the new costs, which leads to 32,000 dirhams a year. In terms of yields, even though from a gross yield perspective, long-term unfurnished is at 9% versus 11.7% short-term, the net yield for long-term is actually a lot higher at 6.5% versus 5.8% for short-term furnished. What will you do